So first we're gonna get 4 avocados. I hope this one felt a little overripe, to be honest, but I need to make this video, so here we are. Cut your avocado in half. Some people just squeeze out the pit. I don't like to do that. I don't know why, but I prefer to just put the knife in the pit and give it a little twist, and it comes out. Voila. So I will do that with all 4 avocados, get them ready. Once you've made the guacamole, you can put the pit back into the guac when you store it in the fridge. I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I don't really know if that works. I've never really looked into it. It's never really, it looks cool, but I just don't, I don't know. What I do, which I'm gonna show you, is I create like an airtight seal over the surface of the guacamole. I think that's much more effective. Okay, so these are just small little tricks, but they're helpful. Just dice your avocado in the skin. But can you see how like perfect these avocados are? They're firm, but they're soft. They're not mushy. They don't have that brown edge. Okay, we've diced everything. Now you want to get a big spoon, and then you're just literally swiping it out, and now it's pre-diced so that when you go back in later to mash it, it's much easier. You're not starting with like a whole side of an avocado, which can be cumbersome. Guacamole is inherently allergen friendly. There is no gluten or dairy, so there's no substitutes necessary. It's got lots of healthy fat. It really enriches the meal. It helps everybody feel full and satisfied. So let's say you didn't even want to have mayonnaise or sour cream or cheese or anything. I think even if you just topped it off with avocado or guacamole, you're still gonna feel satisfied and full. It is good to get some citrus over this because that does help prevent from browning. So we'll get that in there quickly. I've got a lime. You could use lemon, but I'm gonna use lime. These limes are so juicy. They're amazing. Look at that. A couple of big pinches of kosher salt. You know, you've got 4 avocados in here, so don't be shy. Fresh pepper. And then the secret ingredient to my guacamole, which I will say I've had a lot of people really comment on how much they love my guacamole and what is it and blah, 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 blah. I put in ground cumin. It just adds a familiar spice from Mexican cuisine. It's just it's a nice surprise. Okay, I like to use a spoon and a fork to mash. I pick up a mound of avocado on the spoon and I just press the fork against it. Instead of sitting here and like using the side of the bowl and the avocados slide all over the place, and I find that to be really annoying. I just kind of put things in front of the back of a spoon and push them onto the spoon, if that makes sense. And once you break down those bigger hunks, then you can ditch the spoon and kind of get in there with just the fork. So now you can see we're mashed, but there's still some like nice big chunks, which I think just feels more handmade, homemade. It's just a nice texture. It's the perfect texture for guac in my opinion. Okay, put that aside. Now we're gonna get a little bit of red onion in here. I think typically white onion is used. I like red, it's a little sweeter. White onion is a little milder. Cut the onion in half, cut the tip off, leave it attached at the root, and then it just makes it easier to peel off this outer skin. To dice this, we start by flat cut side down. We're gonna go horizontally. That's the oven, it's ready. Just make a few slices horizontally in rows. I'm using about a quarter of a red onion. And then we're gonna go down vertically. Then we'll come across and we'll just do a small dice. Ooh! I feel like that's enough. This is also potent. Oof. Okay. Put the red onion in. Oh my God, my eyes are totally tearing. Fresh cilantro. I love fresh cilantro. If you're one of those people with the soap tasting gene, obviously, just leave it out. I'm also not big on I don't mind the stems, a little bit of stems in the cilantro. They're tender, and they have a lot of flavor, so I wouldn't get hung up on taking all the leaves off of the stems. Just mince it up. Love it. Okay, we're gonna pop that in. You'd think you should use a spoon to do this, but I'm gonna use a fork because not really mashing, just kind of pressing all these things into it. Okay, so now we must taste and adjust. So instead of sticking my whole finger in here, I'll just, whatever. It's really good. I'm gonna add a tiny bit more lime juice. I mentioned before, I think it's important to make these things up front, but then you wanna store them in the fridge until it's time to eat. So just get all your guac as much as you can into the center of the bowl there. You know, you really like that. And then, it's so good. Instead of putting your plastic wrap over the top of your bowl, which does absolutely nothing except trapped air in there and help your guacamole get brown, I like to go in on the surface. So we're gonna put it on and then we're just gonna literally press out. You're vacuum sealing, basically, your guac by hand. So just press out as much of the air pockets as you can and really get that plastic on the surface so that no air hits it. This works really well for me. I do this, if I make guacamole and there's leftover, you do this at night, you can still eat it the next morning.